worry about it. Just start building it and do these two things perfectly. If you fail at those two things, you will screw up your credit score. It's up to you. Pay your bills on time, keep your balance at 0. 0. And my son will say, Dad, why don't I just pay cash? You're not building credit. That's why I want you to use that card. Pay your bills on time, keep your balances low. If you are going to get credit, please folks, this is the fine print of a Best Buy credit card. And I'm not dishing on Best Buy. Look at all this stuff. I have a Best Buy card. Balance is at what?
0.
Yeah. But this is look at this stuff. 6 pages that I gotta understand, yep. And you know what's buried on the back of page 2 in small print?
Interest rate.
Interest rate of what? For all you Best Buy people.
19% probably.
24.25%. So if I carry a balance, if I go in the Super Bowl and get a really cool TV and put it up and then don't pay my bill, I pay 24% interest. Late fee, if I don't pay a bill in time, they're gonna put $37 added onto that. Doesn't matter what the balance is, late fee $37. If you're gonna get credit, make sure you read this stuff. For those of us that are older, we get this crap in the mail. Pre-solicited, oh, look at this, 8% APR, no annual fee. Notice these are all addressed to my wife and not to me. Capital One, you're pre-approved, you're pre-approved. Oh, Capital One again, you're pre-approved. And then, they beg you, they send you a check. And it says right on here, check may not exceed $15,000. Oh, really? If you would have sent this to Airman Lady at 18 years old, I would have bought a lot of cordless phones, right? This is what they do. Now you're going to say, I'm disciplined, I'm not going to do anything with this check. You are going to meet sailors, young enlisted sailors and or Marines, who are going to get checks like this and just go to town. Because they didn't get the word. Go.
We had a sailor on our boat, it was an E1, and he went and got a loan and bought a 2014 Camaro, and the interest rate was a staggering 12% on a car loan, which should be like 2%.
Naval Station Great Lakes gave this presentation. Part of this thing coming up here is a sailor came up to me after this slide. Read the fine print, by the way. He comes up to after this slide. This talks about auto loans. We'll get here. He goes, "Why do you only have 6 and 10% up there?" I said, "Well, just because that's how the slide deck was built." "Well, is 18% bad? Because that's what I'm paying." He bought his car in North Chicago at a dealer. Do you think that dealer cares about you, or your sailors, or Marines, or airmen, or coasties? No, they don't. All you're focused on while on the topic of cars is this number right here. What's the payment going to be? All he was concerned about is how much per month am I going to pay. So we got a 9-year loan. Because he went in there and goes, "Oh, look at that Ford F-350, I want that. But I can only afford," he does his mental math, and says, "but I can only afford $400 a month." "Oh, we can work that out for you." Right, because he didn't have a budget. He didn't understand interest rates. All he knew is that he was going to drive that cool F-350 off the lot. That's all he wanted. The best car on the planet. 2 words. Paid for. Best car to get? Paid for. 2 words. I don't care what make, model, color, nor does any other person on the planet. Paid for. And check the interest rate, by the way, before you get your car. Don't go get a fancy car. I'm sure that sailor, when he went and got interest, went, "Oh my God, how much a month?" A friend of mine bought a yellow Ford Shelby Cobra. Got back from the deployment, had a ton of money because he got hazardous duty pay and all this fancy stuff. And then got an assignment 6 months later to Italy. Anybody ever been to Italy? Car insurance overseas for that Shelby Cobra was $680 a month to insure a brand new Ford Shelby Cobra in Vincenza, Italy. Ask yourself the insurance before you get the car. And if you drive, and you get a new car, what happens when you drive it off the lot?
Appreciate it.
Is it okay? Have I bought a new car in my life? Yes, I have. But I'm willing to accept the depreciation, and I understand how much the car costs, and I put a sizable amount down, but I knew it was going to depreciate. I'm not saying, but I was in a financial situation where I understood that. Most of the young people, you're not there. You don't know where you're going to be in your career. Don't worry about it. Remember that Best Buy credit card, $3,000 for that big screen TV? 18% interest? If you pay the minimum, so the bill comes and you go, oh, I bought the TV for $3,000, but look, I only owe $25. Excellent. So you get a check out. You guys know what checks are? Piece of paper, got a little count and routing number on there. Wrote a check for $25, as Aaron Lady did. Just kept sending that way. That bill kept coming. I said, geez, $25, this is easy. If I do that, it's going to take me 22 years of doing that to pay off $3,000. 22 years. And I'm going to pay $6,000 in interest on that TV that I needed for Super Bowl. Don't pay minimums. Pay it off. Pay it off. Balance zero. Pay it off. We talk about cars. If you have debt, here are some things. And having debt is okay. If you have debt, don't panic. My kids that are in college are panicking about the college debt that they may have. Don't panic. One of the best investments you can make, in my opinion, is your education. One of the best. I don't care how much it costs, really. I wish it didn't cost as much as it did, but that's your education, and that's fine. But, and this gets into the question that you kind of asked, well, what should I do first, right? Well, if you had some, let's say you had a couple different, some higher debt, that was in 8%, you had a student loan that was 4%. How about we work on that 8% one first and getting that thing taken care of before we start working on the others? The bottom line here is seek advice, get financial advice. In your military career, you're going to be introduced to one of the finest organizations on naval installation. That's called Fleet and Family Readiness. Fleet and Family Readiness. As your first installation, I recommend that you go to Fleet and Family Readiness, because they have smart people there. They have certified financial planners there that can help answer those questions that you have. What should I do first? I got a little bit of debt. Help me, help me. At Great Lakes, there's 3 of them. They're wonderful. So I would encourage you, Fleet and Family Readiness. Always look for an answer inside your military bubble first, because there are so many resources out there for you. Fleet and Family Readiness, best organization on base. Advice. These people set up shop outside of every installation you will ever go to. They prey on young enlisted people like Airman Lady at Eielson Air Force Base in Fairbanks, Alaska. Right outside the gate of Eielson, it was about 25 miles to Fairbanks, but there was this little town called Moose Creek. Right outside the gate of Eielson. And what, by gosh, guess who was in Moose Creek? Payday loan people, close to the gate. So they could rip me off without driving there. I could walk there and take him to the bank. Stay away. There's nothing good about these people, nothing at all. Talk to your Fleet and Family Readiness folks. And we're on trust. And this goes to our senior military people in the back as well. When trust is high in an organization, and you trust is high, I'm going to come to you with my problems. When trust is low, I'm not going to talk to you because I don't trust you. I'm going to go here. If I have a problem with money and trust is high, I want you to come to me. I want you to come to me. I don't want you to go outside of my unit. My charge is to care for you, but I got to earn that. You got to have high trust, and then you'll go, and people will come to me with their problems, and I love it. That's what I'm there to do. As a senior enlisted person, that's what I was there to do. But I had to focus on trust. I had to build that trust. Trust is high, you won't go to a payday loan place. Look at that. Look at those top 2 things. Have you heard that before? Pay the bill on time and keep your credit card balance low. Pay the bill on time, balance low. Bill on time, balance low. Rest of that's self-explanatory. Now, Who has checked their credit? Forget score. Forget said anything about score. Who's checked their credit? I see nobody up here. Nobody. Okay. You have a sign. Oh, you got your hand up. Good. Did you? When? How long ago? Just out of curiosity, was it?
It was about a year ago.
You go. What did you see? Nothing?
Stuff I didn't understand.
Oh, okay. Well, did you? So what didn't you understand? I mean, how did you?
I went in with my dad because I was thinking about buying a new car.
Okay.
And so he suggested getting your credit report just to see where I was at.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't have credit, guess what your credit report will show? This is my son's credit report, by the way. It's 2 pages. And the other 2 pages, what you do is if you see something on here that you don't understand or are confused about, I want you guys to check it regardless of how old you are, because I don't want someone to have opened up an account under your name or your social security number. It would be blank for you in a sense. I hope it is blank when you check it. I hope you print it out and you go, oh, there's nothing. Why did I do that? You did it because you want to make sure no one's opening up accounts in your name that you don't know about. It has happened to people, folks. It happened to me.
Yeah, me too.
So you saw something on there.
Yeah, that's what, once I looked at it, then I saw that somebody had opened up a Bank of America card in my name.
Bingo. And this is why you need to do this. Because something may be floating out there that you don't know about. You go to this website, annualcreditreport.com, it's in your book. It is free, and you can check your credit report, and notice I didn't say score, at any of these 3. These beasts are called credit reporting agencies. There's 3 of them. You can go to each one of them once a year and do this for free. I encourage you to do it before you leave for summer break. At some point, please. And what you're looking for, and the thing on my son's, it's got his credit card and it's got his student loans. The balance of his student loans are on there. Okay? And it says that there's a status, it says rating, it says okay. Because he's not due to pay on them yet, right? He's not due to pay on the loans. So, and it says he got this from TransUnion. And then if you see something on there, like you saw, some sort of activity that's suspicious, the last 2 pages tells you what you need to do to fix that. And go, that's not me. Okay? So please, check your credit report. And you can do it once a year. Yes, sir. The pig's already spoken for, but go ahead.
This might be a misunderstanding of my own, but I was told once that just the act of checking your credit score and your credit report actually affects it.
It doesn't, not if you do it. Here's what will affect your score. Let's say you're getting ready to buy a home, and you go, oh, I want to go to Home Depot and get a Home Depot card. And then I want to go to Lowe's and get a Lowe's credit card. And then I'm going to go to Ashley's Furniture because I'm going to have to buy some furniture. When you're constantly applying for credit through companies, when they run a credit check on you, that's what counts as new credit. But look at that. That's only 10% of your score, okay? But not when you check it. That's urban legend. You can check it, you're fine. But it's when companies check it that hits.
So like if you were to go around and shop at different car dealerships, they would check your credit and it could affect it to go down.
Yeah, another one that people are doing particularly, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, for the annual credit reports, anyone who's been in OPM, had their security clearance done in the past like 10 years, previous to the first of the month, you should have gotten an email from OPM that would do a monthly credit check for you from now for the rest of your life because of that OPM data breach. So you can use that on top of the annual credit report.
For those that have security clearances,
Yes.
you're absolutely correct. Like myself, and when I got that letter, I was pissed. I was furious. Because you know what's on those. If you got a SCI poly, your life, right? I mean, addresses everywhere you've ever been, all the people you've ever known. It's incredible the data that they kept in those things. Scary. So anyway, but look again. 65, and remember, don't worry about your score. 65% of your score is made up of 2 things that I keep harping on. Pay your bills on time, keep your balances low. That takes care of 65% of your score. okay? This is in your book if you want to refer to it. Please, if you haven't checked your credit, I encourage you, please check it. Get in the habit of doing that once a year. And really, once you're assigned to a military installation, the folks at Fleet and Family Readiness actually have a code that you don't have to go to that website I told you about. They have there's a website called saveandinvest.org that the PFCs, your financial counselors at Fleet and Family Readiness, can go ahead and do that for you. And they can get you your score for free at Fleet and Family Readiness because they got a special code through saveandinvest.org. All right, credit, not on credit. Identity theft. Does this happen to anybody in here that they would like to share? Go ahead.
I checked my bank account one day and there was like $60 gone that I'd never.
That's it. That's not bad.
That's not bad compared to like other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had gotten into my card somehow and bought stuff on it.
You know, did your financial institution tell you, or did you have to find out?
I check it every day usually to
Yeah.
make sure that nothing happened, and that's when I saw it.
This is another reason that you might want to consider making sure that you bank at a reputable, larger institution, because they have really good fraud protection systems in some of the bigger institutions. I don't know if you have a local credit union or just a small bank, but sometimes those folks they don't have the systems as robust as, say, some of your bigger financial institutions. Back here, sir?
Yeah, I've been hacked 3 different times, twice recently, and there's a lot of stuff going on with USAA right now also.
Terrible.
Being hacked rampant right now.
Terrible.
And so I've had to cancel my wife's credit card and my credit card. But here's the reputable financial institution is they
Yep.
told me I got hacked, and then they worked with me to remove the charges and to stop that particular payment.
Yeah.
We had on my mom's credit card, we had a false positive. We were at the Mall of America, and at that point we were going buying things, and we bought so much that our card got denied. So we had to spend some time outside of the mall getting that cleared up. It was not a identity theft.
Yeah.
It was just we were spending so much it tripped as being suspicious by her company.
Yeah, and that happens in some places. I think if you travel or go overseas, sometimes if you don't call your institution, you go overseas, try and use your credit card, they'll stop it. Some of the more robust places will.
USA is really good at that.
Go ahead.
This actually happened like a week ago, and I didn't have my identity stolen, but it's a good idea to always check your bank account. I checked my bank account and noticed that there was some money that was missing, and I got a call from the City of Ames Utilities saying I hadn't paid my utility bill. I was confused because I knew I had it in my filing cabinet. I was like, I knew I paid my bill. Well, they had sent my neighbor's bill to my apartment. I had paid for my neighbor's bill and hadn't paid my own bill. So once they got it cleared up, they ended up giving me a credit check for it.
Right. You know what's happening, another with regards to taxes, you may see this has happened to a couple of people I know, is people are filing tax returns for you on your behalf, and it's not you. So they might have my data, and they will file for a tax return for Jeff Lady at an address that's completely, and where does that refund go?
To
Them. Another thing, here's one. Oh, look at that check. Oh, look at that, says Jeff Lady, it's this tiny lady. On the 11th of December, 2015, not that long ago, my wife and my son took our dogs to the dog park. Dogs hop out of the SUV, they go, they come back, and 3 or 4 of the cars in that parking lot had the windows smashed and purses taken out of the car. So 2 people, picture this, they steal identity of Michelle Colburn, also in the parking lot. They take her ID, they put a wig on and look like Michelle Colburn, and they open up an account at a small bank outside of Chicago. Not a big bank, because big banks won't do this. At a small bank, and they go, I'm just here, just moving in the area, I'd like to open up an account. Okay, Mrs. Colburn, great. Open up an account. Comes back about 2 hours later at the drive-through window and says, hello, I'm Michelle Colburn, I opened up an account here, I'd like to cash a check, because I just sold my car to Tanya Lady. And so that check your account. Yeah, I checked my account, and there was $2,600 missing. So here's the checks. Don't keep your checkbook in your purse, in your car. Because here's why I'm pissed at USAA. I'm not supposed to, Is this being filmed? Here's my point. When they called up, they go, well, we'll put a stop check on the check numbers. Well, who knows what check number you're on? I don't, my wife didn't. What we should have done with that, once you lose that checkbook, look at the bottom, you know what those are?
Account number.
Account numbers and routing numbers, folks.
Cancel that.
Close the account. Close the account. I know it's painful because you have a lot of automatic payments and everything coming out of that account, I get it, but close the account. Checkbooks are just as bad as credit cards, all right, and utility bills and taxes and all that stuff. So that happened to me, and I thought, and here's, we could spend a lot of time talking about identity theft, and I'm not, but I'm gonna simply show you the best, as I learned, as I went through this painful process, and I gotta give my bank, my financial institution credit. Did I get the money back? You bet I did. It just took, they didn't give good advice right at the time of the event. The definitive place to find out and to read about what you should do to keep yourself safe is identitytheft.gov. identitytheft.gov, and this is not in your book, so if you just want to jot down, I would, while you were on your tablet tapping around and feeling like cruising the internet, go to identitytheft.gov. It's too slow to load here, but that's just the site that I found in a lot of tips on what to do if it's happened to you and what you need to do to better protect yourself. Okay, identitytheft.gov. All right, now this gets back to the $6 million question. Jeff, I'm going to start putting away $400 a month. Once you get commissioned, you're going to start putting away $400 a month, and what should I do with it? Remember I said there's no answer. There's no one answer for everybody. There's no one answer for everybody. The pen just exploded. What brand is that, so I don't get one? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you have no idea, right? What checkbook for you want? No, I'm just kidding. These are just some of the things that your financial advisor, your financial institution might tell you. You might want to put some money in a savings account for an emergency fund, for example. Everybody should have a checking and a savings account. Everybody. You might want to, that's where my emergency fund is. It's in a savings account and some short-term certificates of deposit. All these other things are good. Suffice to say, these are low risk, very low risk, and they're good for short-term objectives. Are they making you a boatload of interest? No. But they're not meant to be. It's if I need to get my cash because it's an emergency fund, I need to have it where I can get it. That's the goodness of savings accounts. If you deploy and you earn hazardous duty pay, or a place that you're getting a combat zone tax exclusions, a thing called the Savings Deposit Program, which is guaranteed 10% of your money. Let me say it again. Guaranteed 10%, but you can't sign up for it until you put your foot in that zone. Okay? So you can't sign up for it ahead of time, but if you have that opportunity, did any of you take advantage of that? Good, right?
It's awesome.
Is there a limit how much you can put in there?
10 grand, and it's good, and you have it 180 days after you get back. 180 days after you get back. It's an excellent, excellent idea. Okay, savings deposit program. These are other good things, but they're good for long term, and they are higher risk. Stocks, bonds, real estate, mutual funds, there's risk associated. And again, there's no canned answer why. Every one of you is different for risk. Some of you might want to fly airplanes, jump out of planes, do high-speed cool stuff, and other of you might be really conservative. And there's not one answer, it's whatever you're comfortable with, okay? Risk, higher for these. But we like mutual funds. The Education Foundation believes strongly in the value of mutual funds for people that are not savvy, advanced investors. And these are the reasons why. They're in your book. I like it because they're managed by someone other than me. Professionals. Is there a fee? There's no load and load mutual funds. You should look at no load mutual funds, but there is a management fee associated with mutual funds because someone's managing that money. So he or she has to make a living. But so you have to understand what the fee is. But it does what's called dollar cost averaging. And this is very powerful. And this is why you need to establish a regular amount of money going into a mutual fund. I give my mutual fund manager $150. He tells me the price per share is $10. I get 15 shares. The next month, he tells me the price is $8. I get more shares. The value went down, but that's okay, because this is long-term. I'm not gonna panic. March, it goes down to $5 a share. I get 30 shares. April, back up to 7, May at 10. Go ahead, you got a question?
What's the average amount that you would pay for a management?
I'll show you, I have a chart. The management expense ratios go from 0.3 to 1.5, about. I mean, that's a broad window. Okay? But I'll show you one in just a second. But the point is, look at this. When it went down, I got more shares. So, $750 I gave into my mutual fund, but the value is $1,000. This is a very short time horizon, folks. I mean, this monthly, but it shows that when the value goes down, you don't panic. But if you would have given me $750 in January, not purchase shares, you see what I'm saying? If you didn't purchase those shares monthly and regularly, you wouldn't be taking advantage of that dip. That's why you need to regularly contribute to the mutual fund and buy shares when it's that $50 a month. You're buying shares. Next month, $50, buying shares. Dollar cost averaging. If you're going to select mutual funds, you gotta understand there's a thing called a prospectus and a report. You can put $50 under your mattress for 30 years and you will have $18,000. I'll give that to you. Under your mattress, that's fine. But if you got 5%, that's 40,000, 8% is 68. I'd take that $50 a month and start getting some interest. Even if it's just 5%, 4%. But you gotta select, you gotta be smart when you select your mutual funds. Here is one place that I use to help me select the mutual fund. They have like 25, and this gets to your question about the, and notice how they're divided up into different moves, like large company stocks, small, mid-size. But you see that far category where it says expense ratio? That's what it's talking about. And you see 1.3, it's a pretty good fund. It's making pretty good, isn't it? So where are you getting 10%? Oh, right here. Okay, it's a little tip. But there's an expense ratio. This Fidelity New Millennium Fund, lower expense ratio, but over 20 years it's made 11%. Now how's it doing this year? Crappy. But for those of us that have mutual funds or investments, we're all crying this year. I am. But it's long term, folks. I can cry now, but it's not going to do any good because it's long term. Now, you said $50. This fund is a good fund. However, it takes $2,500 to start skin in the game, and the amount of money that you have to contribute to that fund is a minimum of $100 per month, and it has to come out of your paycheck. Well, Jeff, you said there are $50 funds. There are, but my point is, the bigger funds and the higher performing funds, you're going to have to put a little more skin in the game. The one mutual fund that my son's in for $50 a month, the 5-year return was 4.8%, and it's through his financial institution. Okay? I just want to show you an example of there are people that have already kind of picked out the funds, and then if you click on them, you can go and do a deeper dive. But pick a fund, have fun. My daughter that's at the University of Oregon is a vegan. She rides her bike everywhere. She hates cars and she hates corporate America. But, so when she was investing, she said, Dad, I only want to invest in green energy or green technology, because that's what was important to her. So we found her a mutual fund that she could buy into that supported green technology. So there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of mutual funds. So you might want, if there's something that's important to you socially, she's been a vegan since she was 10. And I'm a steak guy. So I made her cook for herself. I couldn't figure out I could only eat in so many ways. So anyway, mutual funds, good stuff. There are also things for your future called IRAs. And if you want more information, oh, looky here. This from the USA Education Foundation is a book about IRAs. These are free and available online at the USA Ed Foundation website as well. So if you want to do a deeper dive on understanding IRAs, you can put up to $5,500. These are great. Is this for money going to Vegas in a month? No. Long term. In fact, you won't even touch this money till they're 59. Okay? But there's goodness to them. See that bottom word Roth? Y'all need, when you hear that thing Roth tied to anything, you need to just kind of clap. That's a good thing for you younger folks.
So with Ross, you can't get them till you're later, with mutual funds, can you cash out whenever you want?
You can. Penalty, yeah. So mutual funds are much more liquid. This isn't liquid. Mutual funds, you can, yeah, if you want to. But again, the idea is not to. Kind of let it roll. But if you change your, yeah, you can roll out of a mutual fund a little bit easier. Okay? IRAs. They weren't around. These only started maybe 10 years ago. There was no such thing as IRAs about 10 years ago. So these are good. Long term. There's also things called the thrift savings plan. How many thrift savings plan? Those of us, yeah, for those that have, are you guys in it? What do you? Active. Oh, that's right, okay. When can they, this is a question, I don't know, when can they sign up for TSP as part of their military? They can't contract it or once they